Hoo-wee. All right, party people. This your man Grill. All right, got 2 out of 7 done for the day so far. Blessing was that I got all 7 the documents for all 7 closings up front, so they already been printed. So I'm on my way. I'm trying to swing home real quick, do a quick scan, and everything for this one set of documents. I got a 12:30 appointment, so hopefully I should be home. It's 11, so hopefully I can be home about 15 minutes and scan real quick, upload those, and then on to my next ones. I got as little as 11 pages, as many as 206. So from 9 this morning through 7 p.m. tonight, doing closings. So I'm out here just grinding, doing what I got to do, and everything should be pretty good. Everything should be pretty good today. So tonight we do Fritter Friday. There's so much I could talk about. I was just at this guy's house. I had a 9 o'clock, then a 10 o'clock, and with the guy, he owns his own lawn care business. Please keep straight. All right. He owns his own lawn care business, and he was, doing a loan so he can get money and all that kind of stuff. And that was great. I was like, all right, cool, for his business and all of that. And one of the things that he was talking about is that, one of the things I've learned in running a business is that you got to minimize risk. And I was like, and I said, that's what I really wanted to talk to y'all about. Risk mitigation. And it's a boring topic. Let me just be straight with you. It's very, very boring. But the key thing is you got to reduce the risk and liability that your business will be exposed to. And that's one of the key things that businesses should be doing. Reducing their risk, their liability, how much damage should be done, however you want to call it, okay? You got fire mitigation, you got, all kinds. If you got a physical building, what can you do to make sure that there's no fire? Put the chemicals up, make sure they're stored the proper way. There's fire extinguisher, there's a fire alarm, there's exit signs. There's all these risk mitigation things that you have to do. What's the purpose of the exit sign, the lighted exit sign? So in case you lose power, people can see how to get out. Why is that important? To reduce the risk of injury in a power outage and loss of life, because you can't get out. You don't know where, if there's smoke and this, that, and the other. You need to be able to see how the heck to get out of the burning building if possible. All of these type of things. Risk mitigation in hospitals. When you leave, a lot of times they do what? Put you in a wheelchair so that you don't fall down and hurt yourself while you trying to leave after getting yourself taken care of. Risk mitigation. And a lot of people don't understand that. And listening to certain people out here can put your business at risk. And it's your job to basically vet what they're saying and sit there and analyze it and scrutinize it and say, okay, you want to tell me this information. You're saying I should implement this information. Let me verify whether or not that information is actually valid. Because you got to reduce the risk that is associated with doing certain things in your business. And if you do not, you're the one that's going to get blamed for it, not the person who taught you. Can a good lawyer go after them? Yeah, but you're the adult. That's why it's important for the notary, like, okay, sir, please read your stuff. Like the first one I did today, oh my goodness. The real estate agent, she was hot with me because she wanted me to start explaining everything. Well, did you talk to him about that? Did you tell him about that document? I'm like, what are you talking about? Well, that's the privacy policy. Did you tell him about that? Ma'am. I said, And the couple, and see what she don't realize, the couple had to get to the bank. The couple had already, I had already talked to them. They said they already reviewed the documents. They was good with everything. So there was nothing really for me to say to them for as explaining what they were signing, because they was already down with it. They were like, we good. We just need to sign this so we can get to the bank and transfer the people's money. So I wasn't trying to sit here and hold them by sitting here making them read stuff. There was one document they had to read for themselves, and it was a borrower's attestation, and they had to read it. And then the agent was like, well, read it out loud, and I'll answer the questions for you. And I'm like, they got this. They got this. People will have you do stuff that will get your hind parts in trouble. And you have to stand firm. And they're looking, and she's looking at me like, okay, you've been doing. And I told her straight up, I said, ma'am, I know you probably work with other notaries who sit here and give a little mini dissertation about this, that, and the other. But in Virginia, that could be considered the unauthorized practice of law. And I'm just trying to make sure I do things right. ... And then in the middle of it, we came up with a huge problem. They had the lady name spelled wrong. And then she was trying to get me to do stuff that I shouldn't be doing. I was like, not gonna do it. And I know the real estate agent's concerned. That's my commission about to be gone, because if we don't close this, my commission, I got that. But I got to do it right, because that's what my responsibility is. And see, what's cool with that, the couple understood. I said, well, I'm just making sure that I do my role. I said, everybody in this process has a role to play. And and both of them are business owners. So the former business owner, the husband, the wife is a current business owner. And as soon as I said, well, everybody has a role to do, and I said, and I'm making sure I operate within the confines of my role and my assignment. And the signer, the lady, she was like, yep, that is correct. That is what everybody's supposed to do. And that sort of shut the real estate agent down, because the real estate agent was trying to get me to do something that could put me and them at risk. And I was like, no, we're not doing that. I said, I got to do it right. And the signers were very, very appreciative. They said, well, thank you very much for your thoroughness. Thank you very much for your attention to detail. I really appreciate that. I said, no problem, ma'am. I'm just doing what I got to do to make sure this thing goes the right way the first time. And they said, I appreciate you doing that. Because they had to call the lender. It was crazy. So you got to reduce your risk. You got to make sure that you're thinking and not getting caught up in the emotion of, I might get blacklisted. You got to be focused on doing what's right. And if you understand what's right in accordance with your state law, your risks are limited, are very small. The chances of you getting in trouble is really, really low, because you're doing things in accordance with your state guidelines. The problem comes when you start listening to people that's telling you to do stuff, and you haven't verified whether or not that information they gave you is applicable in your state. And you go trying to implement something that some random person on YouTube told you. And then if you're dealing with people who understand what your role is and other people's role and what a notary should and shouldn't be doing, and you're doing something that is completely wrong, they're going to be like, what is your problem? Why are you doing this? That's what we got going on out here. So we're going to talk about that a little bit. So what I would like for y'all to do is hop on ChatGPT or Gemini AI or whatever, and look up what are some risk mitigation concerns for a notary. Look it up, because you need to find out. And we can talk about that and anything else y'all want to discuss and all of that tonight. Like I said, my last one's at 7, so I should be on probably between 9 and 9:30, and all that good stuff. So All right, a few more minutes, be home, do a quick scan, and then head on out and get my other closings done. But I just wanted to share that with y'all. So give me your thoughts. I'll upload this once I get home. Talk to y'all later. Peace.